I was really angry with everything around me. It seemed like every little thing was irritating me to the core. I couldn't find peace in anything, and this feeling of frustration only grew. But then, in a moment of clarity, I realized something fundamental. We achieve much more success and satisfaction when we practice acceptance and gratitude, rather than giving in to destructive criticism. It's as if we are hurting ourselves unnecessarily, simply because our mind is not aligned with our own intentions. The truth is that if the circumstances around us are favorable, we feel good, but if they are unfavorable, our mind immediately becomes negative. However, life shouldn't be such an intense emotional roller coaster. We need to understand that our inner state of peace and well-being shouldn't depend so much on what happens externally. It's a process of training the mind to be resilient, to find balance, and to remain stable, regardless of adversity. How can we awaken more people to truly understand how the world works and the urgent need for change? If we fail to do so, we will continue to seek personal satisfaction without ever finding real and lasting solutions to the problems we face. Awareness begins with individual actions because it is through these actions that we initiate a cascade effect of transformation. Each act of responsibility, each conscious choice, contributes to creating a collective mindset that is more sensitive and attentive to the needs of the world. When individuals actively engage in meaningful causes, they influence those around them, inspiring them to also adopt a more responsible and proactive stance. This gradual and widespread awareness is what eventually leads to more sensitive and effective management, where decisions are made with a deep understanding of the consequences and with a true commitment to collective well-being. Therefore, the key to change lies in individual action, which, when combined with others, generates a powerful and transformative impact on society as a whole. When asked about climate activist Greta Thunberg and her methods, Guru made some insightful observations about the importance of avoiding anger and the need to choose alternative paths to find more effective solutions to current problems. He stressed that while Greta's passion and fervor are admirable and have certainly helped bring the climate crisis to the forefront of global attention, it is crucial that we approach these issues with a mindset of peace and cooperation. Anger, Guru said, often blocks our ability to think clearly and can alienate potential allies. He also emphasized that seeking effective solutions without involving democratically elected governments is a strategy doomed to failure. Governments have the resources, authority, and infrastructure needed to implement large-scale change, which is why working with them is essential. Expecting governments to make changes on their own, without pressure and continued support from the public, is equally ineffective. Real change happens when there is a partnership between civil society and elected leaders, where both sides commit to finding and implementing sustainable solutions. The Guru suggested that instead of relying solely on government or acting out of anger, we should focus on concrete and collaborative actions. This includes educating the community, promoting sustainable practices, and engaging in constructive dialogue with policymakers. Only through this joint and balanced effort, involving all stakeholders, will we be able to effectively address climate challenges and other global issues. The spotlight is now intensely on environmental issues, whether for positive or negative reasons. Events such as the recent UN conference, where a 16-year-old girl gave an impassioned speech, illustrate the urgency with which we are addressing these issues. Everyone seems to want to express their opinions, but is that really what we need? Personally, I do not believe that simply blaming people is productive, as it does not bring real solutions. I learned this lesson a long time ago, when I was also 16 and angry at everything around me. The seemingly unfair political system, the rigid social structures, the family tensions, the religious and caste divisions, the beliefs that limited freedom, and the countless injustices I witnessed on a daily basis. My anger was palpable and constant, and it felt like the whole world was against me. I was angry about everything, but at a certain point, I realized that we achieve much more with acceptance and gratitude than with toxic criticism. I saw the damage that this constant anger was doing to me and everyone around me. Being perpetually angry was not only damaging my mental and physical health, but it was also negatively affecting my relationships and my ability to positively influence situations around me. It was a shift in perspective that profoundly altered the way I interacted with the world. Instead of focusing on negativity and what was wrong, I began to focus on constructive solutions and appreciating what was working well. Acceptance does not mean resignation, but rather acknowledging the reality of the present moment and working from there with a positive, proactive mindset. A 16-year-old girl can feel this concern, and I am sure many people, both young and old, share this concern. But those who guide her should not direct her toward anger. Anger, while it can be a catalyst for action, usually does not lead to sustainable solutions. It is important that we all come together to find a solution, because if we want a solution without involving democratically elected governments, we will not find it. Governments have the resources, authority, and infrastructure to implement large-scale change, which is why working with them is essential. You can burn yourself with anger, but that will not lead to a solution. Real change happens when there is a partnership between civil society and elected leaders, where both sides commit to finding and implementing sustainable solutions. We need a harmonious and constructive approach that promotes cooperation and mutual growth. Only through this joint and balanced effort, involving all stakeholders, will we be able to effectively address climate challenges and other global issues. There is far more talk than action, and this is a reflection of the democratic system we have chosen. In a democracy, freedom of expression is a fundamental pillar, and those in the media understand the importance of being able to speak freely about the issues we face. When this freedom is threatened, we raise our voices in protest, creating a great deal of uproar about the lack of freedom of expression. This naturally results in an environment where there is more talk than action. However, this does not mean that there is no action taking place. The perception that there is more talk than action can be misleading. Discussions, debates, and dialogues are crucial steps in the democratic process, as they allow different points of view to be presented and considered before any action is taken. This process may seem slow and inefficient, but it is essential to ensure that decisions are well informed and that they take into account the needs of society as a whole. Furthermore, many people are willing to make sacrifices and take significant action to address the challenges we face. While we may not always see these actions highlighted in the media, they are happening at many levels. Volunteers are giving their time to important causes. Ordinary citizens are adopting sustainable practices in their daily lives, and activists are working tirelessly to promote legislative and social change. These actions, while they may seem small individually, add up to create a significant impact. Democratic systems allow anyone to get involved and make a difference, but this also means that actions can be fragmented and scattered. Each individual or group may be working in their own corner of the world, contributing in ways that are not always visible or publicly recognized. However, these contributions are vital and form the foundation of a society that is constantly evolving. So while it may seem like there is more talk than action, it is important to recognize that dialogue is an essential part of the process of change. And yes, people are willing to make sacrifices and take action. The challenge is to coordinate these actions in a way that we can see and feel the collective impact. It is through a combination of informed conversations and dedicated actions that we can truly move forward and address the issues of our time. If you asked everyone in Delhi to walk to work one day, would they do it? Probably not. So how can we talk about pollution and do nothing about it? This dilemma reveals the disconnect between our awareness of environmental problems and our willingness to take practical personal action to mitigate them. I am not suggesting that everyone should necessarily walk to work, but we do need to recognize the need for changes in our daily behaviors and be willing to accept the consequences of those changes. What often happens is that we expect solutions to come from above, from the government or large organizations, without considering our own responsibility. When we demand government action, such as implementing stricter environmental policies or investing in green infrastructure, we need to understand that these measures may require sacrifices on our part, whether in terms of convenience, cost, or changes in our habits. For example, if the government decides to restrict the use of private vehicles to reduce pollution, this may mean that we will have to use public transport more, even though it is not as comfortable or convenient as driving our own car. We need to be prepared for these changes and support policies that, although they may cause us some discomfort in the short term, will contribute significantly to improving air quality and the environment in which we live. Furthermore, when we point the finger and blame the authorities exclusively for the lack of action, we are ignoring the fact that we are part of the problem. Our consumption habits, transport choices, and lifestyles have a direct impact on the environment. If each of us does not do our part, how can we expect the solutions to be effective? It is therefore crucial that there is a collective awareness that the responsibility for environmental preservation is shared. We need to adopt a more proactive approach where our individual actions, however small they may seem, add up to a meaningful collective effort. This can range from small changes, such as reducing our use of single-use plastics, to larger decisions, such as switching to renewable energy or participating in community tree planting initiatives. Ultimately, change starts with ourselves. We need to align our expectations with our actions and be willing to make the necessary sacrifices to achieve a more sustainable future. Once we understand and accept this, we can work together with the government and other institutions to create truly effective solutions to the environmental challenges we face. According to Sadhguru, there are clear reasons to believe that anger is not beneficial, and he also offers ways to overcome it. Let's explore how anger can bring chaos into your life. Firstly, anger is not something that comes from outside. It is generated within you. When you feel angry, this emotion arises internally and takes over your being. So ask yourself, when you are angry, is it pleasant or unpleasant for you? The answer is clear. Anger is clearly unpleasant, both for you and for those around you. It creates an environment of tension and conflict, damaging your relationships and your well-being. Today, medical science proves that anger has negative effects on the body. When you are angry, your body releases a series of hormones and chemicals that, in excess, can be toxic. These hormones increase blood pressure, accelerate your heart rate, and can even damage your immune system. In other words, being angry is like slowly poisoning yourself. So why would you choose to poison yourself in this way? Anger is not a conscious act. It is an emotional reaction that occurs when your mind is not under your control. You are harming yourself because your mind is not following your instructions. Imagine if you could completely control your mind and your emotional reactions. If your mind truly followed your orders, you would choose feelings of happiness, calm, and peace over anger. After all, no one wants to be in a constant state of irritation and frustration. When you want to be at peace but find yourself frequently irritated or angry, it indicates that there is a disconnect between your conscious desires and your mind's automatic reactions. The key to overcoming anger, according to Sadhguru, is to work on aligning your mind with your intentions. This can be done through meditation practices, self-awareness, and breathing techniques that help calm the mind and promote a state of inner tranquility. By learning to consciously direct your mind, you can choose to respond to situations with calmness and clarity instead of anger. This not only improves your mental and physical health, but also transforms your interactions with others, creating a more harmonious and positive environment around you. Through this process, you can gradually eliminate anger from your life and cultivate a happier, more balanced existence. If your mind is not obeying you, it is crucial that you pay more attention to it and seek to understand the reasons behind this lack of control. Ask yourself, why is your mind not following your orders and remaining in a desired state of calm and happiness? If you can unravel this question, you will realize that you do not need to avoid anger as if it were an external entity attacking you. In reality, anger is not a phenomenon that comes from outside and invades your mind. It arises internally because you have not done the necessary to control your mental and emotional faculties. When you become angry and unhappy, it is a reflection of a lack of internal discipline. Anger and other negative emotional states are not events that occur by chance or by an uncontrollable external influence. They result from a lack of conscious control over your thoughts and emotions. Your mind is reacting in a disordered way because it has not been trained to follow your instructions accurately. This lack of control does not happen by accident, but rather due to a lack of practice and attention in managing your mental processes. To address this issue, it is essential to adopt practices that help strengthen your ability to control your mind. These can include meditation techniques, mindfulness exercises, and other practices that promote greater self-awareness and self-control. By dedicating time and effort to developing these skills, you will begin to notice a significant improvement in your ability to remain calm and happy, even in the face of challenges and stresses. Understanding that anger is a product of an untrained and disordered state of mind is a fundamental step in changing this dynamic. When you begin to pay attention to your emotional reactions and take steps to adjust your mind, you will not only reduce the frequency and intensity of anger, but you will also create a more harmonious and balanced internal environment. So instead of accidentally allowing emotions like anger to take over you, you will be increasingly in control of your mind and, consequently, your happiness and well-being. If the circumstances around us are favorable, we generally feel good. If they are unfavorable, our mood also tends to deteriorate. However, human life should follow a different dynamic. Ideally, our internal state of well-being should not depend on external conditions. Instead, if I am well internally, this stability and satisfaction should reflect and positively influence everything around me. We should not allow external circumstances to determine how we feel. True change occurs when our consciousness and mental state have the power to shape the situations around us, and not the other way around. Nowadays, we often see the opposite. It is external situations that shape our consciousness and emotional state. This creates a cycle where our happiness and inner peace are constantly manipulated by the conditions of the external world, which is not the most effective way to live. Ideally, we should cultivate an inner consciousness that is resilient and autonomous, capable of maintaining a state of serenity and satisfaction, regardless of external adversities. This means that we must work to develop a mindset that is strong and stable, not easily shaken by the fluctuations of circumstances around us. Human consciousness should be the force that creates and transforms situations, not the other way around. When we achieve this level of self-confidence and inner control, we have the power to influence and improve the environment around us. In this way, we can live in a way that is more aligned with our true essence, creating a positive and lasting impact on our lives and the lives of those around us. Change begins within us, and it is through strengthening our consciousness that we can create a more harmonious and balanced world. In a conversation with Terry Tamminen, CEO of the Leonardo DiCaprio Foundation, Sadhguru addressed the issue of how to create consciousness among people and emphasized the importance of our generation in bringing about meaningful change for humanity. Sadhguru believes that we are in a unique position to make a huge difference if only we can understand the true scope and impact of our actions. He notes that many people still lack a clear understanding of the world we currently live in. They often think in terms that may not be entirely relevant to modern reality, such as traditional economic issues or the notion that a small individual action cannot make a significant impact. However, Sadhguru emphasizes that every small step counts and that each of us has the ability to make a difference. Rather than underestimating the value of our actions, we need to recognize that the sum of small individual efforts can result in big changes. The idea that a single action does not make a difference is an illusion that can lead to inaction and conformity, which only perpetuates the stagnation of the problems we face. The real challenge, then, is to wake up to this reality and act with the awareness that our actions, no matter how small they may seem, have a cumulative and significant impact. Sadhguru suggests that in order to bring about true transformation, we must first understand that change begins within ourselves. If each individual starts adopting sustainable practices, contributing to important causes, and actively engaging in their community, these collective actions can create a positive domino effect. Ultimately, waking up to the power of small actions is essential to creating a broader and more effective global consciousness. We need to understand that there is no action too small when it comes to making a difference. By recognizing the value of each contribution and taking responsibility for our choices, we can transform our approach to tackling current challenges and creating a more sustainable and harmonious future for all. In a nation like ours, every small action does indeed matter and can contribute significantly to a positive impact. However, it is equally crucial that fundamental changes in policies take place. Otherwise, we will only be seeking personal satisfaction without arriving at a real solution to the problems we face. The adoption of environmentally sensitive and sensible policies is essential to ensure that the necessary changes are implemented on a large scale and effectively. Nations need to establish and follow policies that promote environmental sustainability and collective well-being. Policies that encourage sustainable practices, protect natural resources, and regulate pollutant emissions are essential to address environmental challenges in a comprehensive and lasting way. However, these policy changes do not emerge spontaneously. It is imperative that people actively engage in the democratic process, expressing their concerns and demands clearly and assertively. In a democracy, the system of government reflects the will of the people. If citizens do not speak out or press for change, the government has no incentive to change its policies or prioritize critical issues. The will of the people is expressed through the administrations we elect, and ultimately policies and decisions are shaped by the priorities and values of the majority. It is therefore the responsibility of citizens to get involved, protest, and vote in an informed manner to ensure that their concerns are represented and addressed by elected leaders. At the same time, people must continue to do their part at the individual and community levels. While policy changes are crucial, every personal and collective action contributes to the formation of a culture of environmental responsibility and awareness. Combining individual efforts with collective pressure for policy reform creates a virtuous cycle of change and progress. Therefore, to truly move towards effective solutions, we need both individual actions and structural changes in government. Only through this combined effort, where citizens and policies work in harmony, will we be able to address the challenges comprehensively and ensure a more sustainable and equitable future for all. Individual action is key to raising awareness, because it is this personal action that will ultimately lead to the creation of a responsive and responsive administration. Without the concern and engagement of individuals, there will not be enough pressure for administrations to adopt policies that truly meet the needs of society and the planet. Awareness starts at the personal level, and it is the sum of these small actions and concerns that shape collective demands and expectations, directly influencing political and administrative decisions. We have now reached a critical point on the planet where robust and effective policies are needed to address unprecedented environmental and social challenges. The good news is that, for the first time in history, we have the intelligence, expertise, and technology necessary to solve global problems in a way that has never been possible before. We live in an age of instant communication, with access to information and resources that empower us to act more effectively and in a coordinated manner. We are the first generation with the unique combination of skills and tools to address these challenges with unprecedented competence. Technology allows us to monitor and understand issues in real time, while our communication capabilities enable us to mobilize and inspire action on a global scale. We have the tools at our disposal to transform the way we address environmental and social issues, and the capacity to make a meaningful difference is greater than ever before. The crucial question now is whether we will remain passive observers or take the initiative to make a difference. It is up to us to decide whether we will be a generation that simply witnesses change or one that acts decisively to shape a better future. Each of us has a role to play, and the opportunity to positively influence the world is within our reach. So it is time to act with determination and purpose. Let us seize the opportunity we have, use the skills and resources available to us, and make it happen. Our generation has the potential to be the greatest generation in humanity, and it is our responsibility to turn that potential into reality. It is time to come together, take action, and ensure that we leave a lasting legacy of progress and transformation for future generations. We have chosen a democratic lifestyle, and this implies that we have the power and responsibility to shape our society through active participation. Democracy is not just a system of government, it is a dynamic tool that requires involvement and action from all of us to function effectively. There is no point harboring feelings of anger or discontent with the way things are if we do not actively participate in the democratic process that can transform our reality. Being angry about the way the world works is an understandable reaction, but anger alone does not bring about concrete change. In a democracy, real change begins with our participation. This includes voting, engaging in public debates, and even running for office or supporting those who share our views and values. Through these actions, we can influence policy, promote reforms, and help create an environment that is more aligned with our expectations and needs. Inaction only perpetuates the status quo. If we do not use the tools that democracy offers us to express our opinions and work for improvements, we are, in practice, failing to fulfill our role as citizens. Actively participating in democracy is the way to transform the way we live and ensure that our voices are heard and taken into account. Therefore, instead of letting anger consume us, we must channel it into productive actions that strengthen democracy and drive positive change. The power to shape our society is in our hands, and it is through active participation that we can truly make a difference. And there we have it, folks, another video. I hope these reflections have helped to clarify how our active participation is essential to transforming the world we live in. Remember, real change begins with each one of us. It is not enough to just feel angry or frustrated. We need to take action, get involved, and contribute to building a more just and sustainable future. If you enjoyed today's content, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the Seeds of Mystic Wisdom channel, and activate the bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. Share your ideas and thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think about the power of individual action and the role of democracy in social transformation. Thanks for watching, and until next time, let's continue our journey to a better world together.